I'm joined by XICW Season 4 winner and current XICW Lightweight Champion. And if I'm not mistaken, as you can see there, he's sitting there with the Pro Wrestling All-Stars CruiserCore Champion, El Ridiculoso. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thank you for having me, Matt. I am also the UCW Heavyweight Champion, the Ultimate Champion, out in Bay City. So I've three. I only got 2 titles on me, though.
Right, so 3 belts, UCW. That's out Bay City, as you were saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So I have to ask, and you have your mask on, and I have to ask, what's it like wrestling under a mask?
It depends on the environment. It gets sweaty, more so when I take it off afterwards. But I'm used to it. I've been wrestling for about 10 years now, and I've had the mask the entire time, so I'm just used to it, I guess.
Okay, so
it's hindrance for other people. Like I know some guys that when they took their mask off, they much preferred it. So
okay,
to each their own, I guess.
Right. So and then that leads into: would you ever consider wrestling without the mask later on at some point?
This is my face. This is my skin.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think. I think it sets me apart, especially in the Detroit area. Like I wrestled in Southern California for about 6.5 years, and lucha was very prominent out there, and there was a lot of luchadors and a lot of masks. When I came out to Michigan, there was me and Movado. So it was it's set me apart. So I like it.
Okay, so you say you wrestled out in Southern California as well?
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. So you're not originally from here. So you had a career out there. You moved here and started again. Did you know Did you know anybody when you came here?
No, I did not. I actually grew up on the other side of the state near Kalamazoo, and then when I was 19, I moved out to California, and I started wrestling training about 2 years after that. And I wrestled out there for about 6.5 years, like I said. I was a tag team champion and a lightweight champion for a company called the Alternative Wrestling Show, AWS. That's where I also worked for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I worked for Hood Slam, EWF, numerous promotions out there. So I was out there for a while. And then I came out here in 2015. I didn't know anybody. At the time, I was training with Brian Kendrick at his school. And I told him the situation. I was going to have to be moving. And he instantly referred me to the House of Truth. He couldn't think of anybody else other than Truth Martini to go train with out here.
Right.
So yeah, that's what brought me out here.
Well, so you come to the House of Truth. You come to Michigan. What's it like training under Truth Martini?
To me it was not learning a different style, but it was it was restarting. No matter where you go, if you switch jobs any place, you're going to start from the bottom and have to work your way back up. Right. I don't mind doing that. 100% welcome the opportunity and the challenge. It's great. Training with Truth was super educational. I've had the benefit and the luxury of training with a lot of great, intelligent, creative minds. Like I said, Brian Kendrick. I also trained under Joey Ryan, the Ballard brothers, that used to run WWE school in Southern California. I trained under them. The Santino brothers school. There's numerous people I've had the luxury of sitting under their learning tree. With Truth Martini, it's in a whole different level. The way he breaks things down, the man is so smart. Right. He knows movement and why that movement should be made. It was super educational. The difference in styles, though, of just the wrestling, as opposed to Southern California, as opposed to the Midwest, I consider it like soccer versus football. Like soccer, very athletic, very running around, very cardio based.
Right.
Football is very smash mouth, hit you hard, hit you fast. So to me, that's the difference. Both football, but both not football.
Right. No, that makes sense. So you were saying you've been involved in the business for like 10 years now, and you trained under a lot of different people. Now, are you originally from California?
No, I'm kind of from all over. Like, grew up for the most part in the Kalamazoo area. I also lived in Nebraska and Kansas for a number of years, and then I also lived in the Detroit area for a while. I moved out, like I said, I moved out to California when I was 19. I was out there till I was 27, almost 28. So
Oh.
I was out there for a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, just
So
not really, because I'm kind of from everywhere.
right, right. So how did, moving all over the place, so how did you get involved in professional wrestling? Like, what made you decide, hey, you know what, I want to start training in professional wrestling?
Well, professional wrestling's been kind of like the one constant for me in my entire life. Like I said, we moved around a lot, so I didn't have, I'd make friends, then leave friends, and make new friends, and leave those friends. And so I always had pro wrestling, though. Monday night, I could always turn on, there was always going to be wrestling, Sunday night, Monday night.
Right.
So that was, it's just something I've always loved. And then when I was 21, there was a store, the Alternative Wrestling Show. They had a store where he sold. This is before the network. This is before streaming. This is before YouTube really was
Right.
big. Had a store that he sold DVDs out of old shows and stuff like that. So I was at this guy's shop. I would drive an hour, about 2 times a week, and spend $30 every time I was there, just buying random DVDs that you can't find anywhere that aren't
Right.
under the WWE label. A lot of old classics and stuff. So I was spending money every week, and finally I was talking to the promoter, this guy named Bart, who ran the store. I was like, man, what do I got to do? I trained to be a referee. I was like, I just wanted to be a part of it. I'm spending so much money. I'm driving this far anyway. Well, why not? Well, why not take that next step? Like you only take the risk you don't take.
Right.
So I just asked him how I could become a referee. Cause I'm a skinnier cat. I didn't think
Right.
first, I didn't think I was intimidating looking. I didn't think I could go like that. He wanted a referee that could get beat up, that could get tossed around. So he had me start doing the full wrestling training just right off the bat. He didn't treat me any differently, even though I just wanted to be a referee. He didn't treat me any differently. Just had me do all the same drills, same stuff. And I was about 3 months in, 2 months in, I was getting better than some of the actual students, some of the guys that actually wanted to be wrestlers. So he had me that's where the mask came from, because he wanted me to still referee. So he made me get a mask and started putting me out there to have little opening matches and then ref later on the show. And then as time went on, I just much preferred the actual wrestling and just kind of stopped refereeing and just started wrestling. And to me, it's been a little bit more successful.
Right, yeah, I'd say so. I definitely would say so on that. So I was there for the season 6 finale of Proving Ground. You are a season 4 winner. And I was there, Billy Ray, Levi, they won, and I seen the pure emotion that Billy Ray had. He picked up his kid, brought him in the ring, and it was an amazing sight. What was it like for you and your team when they announced that you guys were the winner? Did you have that emotion too?
Much like Billy Ray, we were on the underdog side of things. A lot of things in wrestling could have a little shade thrown on them, and when it comes to wrestling with the vet tournament, it is 100% the quality of your work. There's not a guy backstage saying you're moving on.
Right.
It's literally it's us in the ring. How we act in the ring is what advances you in the tournament, which is something I really, really love, because a lot of people say things aren't real in wrestling, but when it comes to wrestling with a vet, there's nothing that's not real about it. You can't, even if the judges are biased towards you and they don't like you, you can't deny what people do in the ring.
Right.
So it's my team, Cyrus Santino, Louis Perez, and myself, were the only. It was the only season that did 3-man teams, and we weren't supposed to win. We were supposed to have been eliminated on the first show. People backstage, they didn't have much faith in us. We made it on. We passed on. We just kept gaining this momentum and this following, and the people kept getting behind us. And there was a show where we should have been eliminated. We actually lost the scoring, and we should have been eliminated. However, a fan who had won a raffle earlier in the night, and their raffle prize was to pick an immunity team that could be saved from elimination, that one fan saved us. And if it wasn't for that one fan, we wouldn't have won the tournament at all.
Oh, wow.
So for us, it was the people that brought us to the finals. It was the people that got us to the end. Cyrus was very, very bitter through the whole process because he was one of the last people picked, and he felt very bitter about that. I myself had been the last person picked for the first 2 seasons. Season 1, I was the last person picked. Season 2, I was the last person picked. And both seasons, I was eliminated. I didn't feel I should have been eliminated. Season 1, I was eliminated because I had a prior engagement and I couldn't make the show. And Season 2, I was with Caleb Stills, and we were outperformed by the DBA and Trey Miguel. So that one's not as bad as me. But I totally understood where Cyrus was coming from. I understood where Louis was coming from because he was just an unknown person trying to make a name. And like I said, like having to restart and coming to XICW from the bottom up, I was very much behind our team, very much behind the whole process of it. And the emotion when you actually won, because I didn't think we were going to win. Cyrus didn't think we were going to win. Louis didn't think we were going to win. Each show, we just were like, you know what? If this is the day we're going home on a high note. We're just going to go out there and be ourselves better than we can be ourselves, like better than anybody else can be themselves.
Right.
Well, we're out there, we're going to and be undeniable because the judges, you can't. If we do everything right, they can't crap on it.
Right.
So we did our thing the best that we could do it, and the people got behind it, and we won. It was tearful. I'll say that.
Right. Well, I gotta say that looks like it's definitely worked out for you and Cyrus, because Cyrus was just on Evolve last night again. So, you know, and he's still down there with ACW. So you guys are doing good. You got 3 belts, right? You know, so looks like it worked out. So you talked about you moved around a lot. You've been in the business for a while. You know, do you still wrestle outside of Michigan, or do you travel outside of Michigan to wrestle?
Yes, I'll actually be going back to California on March 23rd. Back to AWS. I'm going to be going back to AWS for one night. Bart's flying me back out. He's celebrating his 15th year, I believe, running shows.
Oh, okay.
So bringing me back out there for my lightweight champion. So I'm not 100% sure what my match is yet, but I'm very much looking forward to that. I try and get as many places as I can. I got legal problems that prevent me from going to Canada, so that kind of sucks. So yeah, if I can get to Ohio, I'll go to Ohio. If I can get to Illinois, I'll go to Illinois. Like, any place will have me out.
Oh, definitely.
Quite often, so
right on.
Any place will have me, I'll go.
Right. Okay. So I ask this question to pretty much everyone that I interview, and it's a 2-part question. What's a great piece of advice someone has given you about wrestling, and what advice would you give someone trying to break into the wrestling business?
Actually, I do this quite a lot. Actually, at the House of Truth, I'm there quite often, and I help out a lot. And
well, that's good.
A lot of new students will ask me that question, like, what advice? It's got to be something that it's a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. It's a lifestyle choice. There's going to be days where you don't want to go to practice. There's going to be days you don't want to go to a show. There's going to be times you're sick and don't want to go. It's your dedication that's going to bring you to that next level. There's been opportunities I missed out on because I couldn't make it, or I wasn't feeling good, and I didn't, I could have been on Impact, but I missed that opportunity. I could have been on Lucha Underground, but I missed that opportunity. Like, all you gotta do is just keep plugging away, and hopefully those opportunities will represent themselves. But it took me 3-4 years to get those one opportunities. It might take another 3 or 4 to get those. You have to be prepared for disappointment. You have to be prepared for pain, physical pain on a constant basis, because there's not going to be, it doesn't not hurt. Like, it's going to hurt. You'll hurt. Your girlfriends, your boyfriends, your significant others are going to get mad at you because there's going to be a birthday party you can't make. There's going to be a dinner you can't make. There's going to be a funeral you miss. There's going to be things that, how dedicated are you to it? Because that's how dedicated you have to be. That's what I always tell people, at least my own personal experiences, is you got to go into it 100%. Hesitation equals death. Right. So if you hesitate, you're going to die. In any facet of life, you hesitate, you're not committed, you're going to die. That's the advice I would give people. Advice I've gotten, it's just variations of that. Just you'll get in what you get out. If you put in the work, you'll get it back. It's a circle. You're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to anything just because you put a deposit down and spent 6 weeks at a school. That's another thing. Never stop training. You never stop learning. You learn something from everybody every single day. And one of my biggest frustrations is people take the 12 weeks at the House of Truth, or the 12 weeks at whatever school they learn their craft from, and then they buy a pair of tights off Highspots, they get a pair of boots off of eLucha, and ooh, I'm a wrestler now. But no, you're not, because you don't know what you're doing, you don't know why you're doing it. There's a million little things that just going through those 12 weeks you don't learn.
Right.
You go through this 3 or 4 times, and you start learning it. Like I've done nothing but the fundamentals for I don't know how long, and that's all you need to do. It's just don't quit. You never quit learning, so don't quit learning.
Wow. I think that's probably one of the best answers I've heard so far. That was really amazing. Thanks for that, man. So tell the people that are going to be watching this interview, where can they see El Ridiculoso and to buy some of your merch? And by the way, I just wanted to point out, I was at, there you go. You got the merch there. Right. Matter of fact, I was at Border City Wrestling's show they did at the Diamondback Saloon, and I seen at least 3 of your shirts there. So
that's the one I missed. That was the Impact one I missed. I had a stupid sinus infection, and I didn't want to make a bad impression with all those people and having like a snot runny nose. Right. So I make that show. And yeah, that was the opportunity. That was my Impact opportunity. Yeah.
Well, I see at least 3 of your shirts. So where can we see you up recently or soon so that people can go buy those sweet shirts?
Well, you can, anytime my shirts are available at prowrestlingtees.com/El Ridiculoso.
Oh,
all
sweet.
One word, all I got all my shirts are available up there. I'll be at XICW this Sunday. I'll be at XICW next Sunday at the Ritz in Warren. I got so many shows coming up. I'm gonna feel bad. Pro Wrestling All Stars is running on the 2nd with a joint February 2nd. On January 25th, I will be at the Michigan Pro Wrestling Alliance MPWA Mall of Monrovia show. At the Mall of Monrovia, of course.
Right.
On January 31st. A brand new company in Toledo, Ohio will be running. It's called ECW Toledo. We'll be running their film event. They're hoping for a sellout crowd, so I hope I'll have my merchandise there too. So if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, I always put up the flyers and the show dates of everything I'm at. So if you go to Facebook, El Ridiculoso, Twitter is at El Ridiculoso, and Instagram is at El Ridiculoso. Always have my information up there. Always want people to come out, support good indie wrestling, support champions, support opportunity.
Yes, sir. So I will see you Sunday because me and a few of my buds bought a VIP suite, and we're gonna hang out and get our free pizza and pop and enjoy the show. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that building. It's such a building that's about to fall around you, but it's such a good atmosphere.
It's definitely amazing. When the fans get going, it's a good place to be. All right, buddy. Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you this Sunday, and maybe we'll have you on again. What do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. This was a lot of fun. Anytime.
All right, thanks, bud. Have a good one.
You too, man. You got this.
I do got this. You got it. Thank you.
Let's go down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. Let's go down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage.